do by drafting Bender and then acquiring a second pick to get Marquise Chris in the mid-lottery, and then Tyler Eulis in the second round. I think that got us off to a good start for the year. And then going into free agency, we thought a lot of our needs on draft night. Obviously, we're young. We're one of the youngest teams in the league, but we're excited about the potential of our guys. But we also wanted to add to that with some solid veteran guys who could come in and help us win games, and as importantly, teach the young guys how to play. And we feel like we did that with adding two guys, in Jared Dudley and Leandro Barbosa, who have now been here multiple times each. I think it's Jared's second time and LB's third time with us. So we're excited to have those guys back. We're excited for the new season, and welcome to all you guys. And with that, I will open it up for questions.
How excited are you to see the growth of the team from last year with Devin Booker and hopefully a whole season of Eric all the way through? And what do you think it'll be like playing a whole season together?
Well, we're very excited for it, Paul. I think one of the silver linings from last year was that we got to put guys like Devin Booker and Alex Len in position to do a lot. And they experienced some successes, some failures individually. Obviously, from a team perspective, it was a struggle. But we think long-term it'll really help the growth and development of those two guys in particular. It's a shame that TJ Warren got injured and wasn't able to play the last couple months of the year, but he's fully healthy and clear to go, so we're excited to have him back as well. And really, I think more than anything, just getting our main guys healthy, having a healthy Eric Bledsoe coming back, healthy Brandon Knight. This is the best Brandon's looked since we've had him. And Tyson Chandler was dealing with nagging injuries all year last year. So to get those three guys healthy in particular, I think will make us more competitive. I think it'll help us win a lot more games. And I think it'll put the other guys in position to be effective and be successful. And I think we really added to our depth. We're excited to get up to training camp, and Flagstaff starting tomorrow morning. We'll have some good positional battles in camp. I think it's one of the deepest teams we've had, maybe the deepest team we've had since I've been here. But we are young and inexperienced, so there'll be some bumps along the way.
What does it mean to the franchise to have a guy like Devin, and how much of that did you kind of run into you didn't know what you had quite when you drafted him?
Well, I think, Bob, the way he developed was pretty unique. He was a late lottery pick, obviously. We knew he could shoot the ball. We thought, at a minimum, he'd be a knockdown three-point shooter. But at Kentucky, you really didn't get to see a lot of that other stuff that he has. And I think even throughout the course of the year last year, his ball handling improved, his ability to run pick and rolls improved. He attracted a lot of double teams. I remember a game late in the year when we were struggling and undermanned. We were playing down in Miami, and Devin, went on a run, and Eric Spoelstra called a quick timeout, and then he started trapping and rotating to get the ball out of Devin's hands. So, as a 19-year-old rookie, that's pretty unusual. Guy who was getting DNPs to start the year, for him to be, I believe, the fourth youngest player in NBA history to score 1,000 points, along with LeBron, Kobe, Kevin Durant, some of the legends of the game. That's pretty heady company. And what's impressed me about him more than anything is that he hasn't let that get to his head. Like a lot of our guys, he was here pretty much all summer. He wanted to play in Summer League. We actually had to restrict him a little bit because he was going to play with the USA Basketball Select Team after Summer League. But his work ethic's been off the charts, and he's handled everything very well. The increased attention that he's gotten. He's as you guys know, he's a very mature guy for his age. He's got a great perspective on things, and we're excited. I mean, it's certainly exciting, for him and the team concept, for us for the future, and we're excited to see what he can do with the off season in which he's worked so hard.
What about also the off the court stuff? Taking the young girl to the draft with him, the kind of stuff he does with the face he's become sort of for this franchise.
I think it comes naturally to him, Bob. There's nothing really that we coach him to do or ask him to do. He just does it, and he comes to us with a lot of ideas, about things like that on his own. His sister Maya is a special girl, and he kind of gravitates, I think, to those who are challenged or what have you, and he just handles himself very well. It's really rare, and a lot of guys, you have to coach him through how to handle certain situations, or maybe you could have handled this differently, or maybe you could have handled that a little bit differently. He handles all of it really, really well, and it's something he's just had, honestly, from the moment he showed up here.
Ryan, you mentioned this summer. How have the guys been this summer? What have you seen out of the team this summer?
Craig, I think it's my 14th or 15th year in the NBA now. It's the best summer of work I've seen since I've been in the NBA. And just in terms of the buy-in from the players, some of our key guys have made Phoenix their home and reside here pretty much year-round. Starting with Eric Bledsoe, I think Eric's set the tone for our group in a lot of ways with his commitment. He's put down roots here, his family's here. He's doing a lot, in the community. He had a bike ride at 6 a.m. on a Saturday morning that he put out on Twitter, and I think a lot of people thought he was joking. So I imagine if he does that again, I think we'll see a lot more folks come down and ride along with him. But it starts with Eric, and we talked about Devin Booker, Alex Len. Those three in particular have made Phoenix their home, and then a lot of the veteran guys with families and kids. As you guys know, school starts here early, so guys like PJ Tucker and Tyson Chandler, they came in August. Their kids are back in school. They don't necessarily have to be here in the gym working out in the weight room and with our team, but they chose to be here, and we take that as a great sign. So I think we're obviously young, and there will be some growing pains along the way, but going into training camp, I think Coach Watson and I feel very good about where we are in terms of preparation, in terms of our ability to hit the ground running tomorrow. There are no distractions. The players are in excellent condition from what we've seen watching them play here over the last month and a half. So we're excited to get going.
Ryan, you're just 2 media days removed from 3 starting caliber guards all showing up on media day and deserving to start, having been starters in their career. How do you see this training camp going differently and this early season going differently than 2 years ago?
Well, it is going to be an open competition going up to training camp. We haven't predetermined anything. We have at least 3 starting caliber guards. I think maybe more than that potentially, but 3 guards who have received All-Star consideration, or we think will receive All-Star consideration in the future. So we view that as a good problem to have. And I know that statement may be controversial to some, but you need talent to win in this league. And we have young talent. We think the talent we have, comes in the form of 3 high-character guys who can play multiple positions and interchange with each other. I think Coach Watson and his staff will get creative. We talked about everything from playing Devin Booker at the small forward position a little bit to mixing and matching lineups and combinations. So we feel good about the people we have, Dave. I think those guys want to compete. They want to earn whatever minutes they're given. And we also have them all under contract for a while too, so that helps.
Ryan, based on how you've constructed this roster, in your eyes, what would you define success as a successful season?
I think a couple things. We want to be the hardest playing team in the league, and I think we have a chance to be up there in that consideration. From it's early from what I've seen so far. I feel like our effort waned at times last year, and that was certainly disappointing to me. I think we want to help our guys develop, especially the rookies and the younger players. We want them to be better in April than they are today. And, just win as many games as we can. I don't want to put a number on it. I don't know what that number is. I think it'll be a lot more than 23. So maybe it'll be like 26 and a half.
How do you balance those last 2? How do you balance the last 2 of them?
That's a good question. We want to, I guess they're not mutually exclusive. Effort and development, kind of run hand in hand a lot of the time. Winning can be a little tougher, but we have, enough veteran balance now and enough of a veteran presence that I think these guys will be mentored the right way for the first time. And as you guys know, this is my 4th year here. For the first time, I feel really good about the people and the character of the people from 1 to 19, 18, 19, however many we're bringing up to training camp. And I think young guys like Dragan Bender and Marquise Chris and Tyler Ulis coming into the league will look at Tyson Chandler, Jared Dudley, PJ Tucker, Leandro Barbosa, to some extent Eric Bledsoe and Brandon Knight, and say, all right, that's what it means to be a professional. That's what it means to represent the Phoenix Suns. LB and Jared had a choice as to where they were going to play this summer. We're thrilled that they chose to come back here and play us, and I think you'll see a much improved chemistry in our group this year, and greater effort, and hopefully the development and the winning comes along with that.
Speaking of the young guys, Ulis and Bender and Chris, do you already have expectations in mind for roles and helping with an immediate need, or are you looking more developmentally for the future?
Well, I think those guys will get an opportunity, and as I mentioned when Dave asked about the 3 guards, we don't predetermine any of that. But if you look at our roster, if you look at our depth chart, especially early with PJ Tucker coming off of back surgery, we do have some minutes potentially available at the 3 and the 4. So Dragan and Marquise have been great all summer. They've worked extremely hard. As I mentioned, some of the veteran guys have made Phoenix their home. All 3 rookies, basically they came out for the draft and did the media stuff with you guys the day after the draft, and then went right to San Diego for the event that Eric Bledsoe organized with our player workouts that was fantastic. Then they took 4th of July weekend off and reconvened here on July 5th to go up to Vegas. We had a successful summer league, I think. And then after taking a few more weeks off in late July, early August, they've been back here since maybe the 2nd week in August for a month and a half now. So, I think that helps them. The fact that we've had 10 to 15 Suns players in the gym every day for the last month, I think will help their growth and development. And then, I mentioned Dragan and Marquise, but Tyler, I think he's the furthest along in terms of having played against high-level competition his whole life. He's done that. This isn't new to him. He's played in the high school circuit, the AU circuit, and had a lot of success, everywhere he's been, including in summer league. So they're young. Obviously, we have 2 of the 4 youngest guys in the league, and Dragan and Marquise. But I think they're as prepared as they can be, and we're excited to see how good they are tomorrow.
What have you seen out of Earl Watson here his first offseason?
Well, just I think just the energy that he's brought, Craig. The buy-in has been tremendous, and that starts with Earl. Getting players to be here all off season. For those of you who don't know, today's the first day they're required to be here. But we've had our whole team in town for a month. Some of the guys all summer. So for getting players to show up and voluntarily, come in at 7, 8 a.m. and work out in the weight room or on the court when it's 115 degrees outside and they could be on the beach or anywhere in the world. That starts with Earl and his staff. He's driven that. His assistants have been great. They've been around all summer. I think this is, by far the most experienced staff we've had since I've been here. Bringing guys like Jay Triano and Tyron Corbin, who've been, NBA coaches at a high level and longtime assistant coaches. I think that'll only help Earl in our group. It's as good as I felt about a team going into training camp. But obviously we have a lot of new players and a lot to learn along the way.
With Earl being as young as he is and the kind of person, attitude he is, how does that help in dealing with the younger players and bringing them along?
I think he relates very well to them, Bob. Earl is he's honest and direct. I think it's a little bit different than what some people think a younger coach may be or what he may bring. He's in some ways their peer, especially our veteran players. They remember playing against him and what a tough competitor he was. But he's also not afraid to let them know when they're not doing as well as they should be, or let them know what their role is and what the expectations are.